Doing this?
We should start right here.
Yeah.
Ready?
Go,
Right.
Go team.
Go team.
All right, guys. Welcome to the first Checking In podcast. This has been something we've been talking about for
a long time.
Actually, Noah and Lori really wanted to do a podcast before even I did.
I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time.
Well, here we are.
Probably like a year. The first podcast I ever did was in Hawaii with my cousin.
Oh,
Brandon.
that's right. You guys did do one.
I did do one.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Was it your own or were you on somebody's?
No, it was Brandon's.
He has a podcast?
Yeah, he does like little things. Yeah. I forgot
Well,
what it was
regardless,
called.
So let me just break down what this podcast is going to be about. Obviously, it's checking in, as you guys know. I appreciate your support. By the way, there's also going to be a clip, if you can, I think, link in the description or something like that. Anyways, the checking in clips on. That way we can break clips out. If you could go over that channel, sub to that would be amazing. So we could do that too. But, there's not going to be any... organization exactly on how this is going to go. And what I mean by that is, if you think it's going to be just a reptile podcast, probably not. Okay, it's going to be.
We're going to talk about a lot.
Well, anything really. Certainly my life is animals and reptiles and stuff like that. So I think you'll see a through story. We'll certainly have reptile people on. We'll certainly have animal people on. But we might talk about anything, right? I mean,
I agree. I think we should talk about whatever comes across my brain.
Yeah, if I'm going to be on this, you're going to be talking about anything. So probably not reptile related.
well, I could, again, I think...
Let's go crazy.
Exactly.
But I think we're definitely going to get into... We can get into some of the... we've been doing this for 32 years as a business.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have a lot of stories. We have a lot... Well, your whole life, though.
That is true.
Yeah. And so I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that. But we're definitely... At times we'll be... Maybe just me and Lori. At times it'll be me and Noah. At times it could be me and just one other person, a guest maybe, or any configuration thereof, So we wanted to kind of do something that, at least I wanted to do something that, I basically have seen other professional podcasters do. And hopefully we can bring that level, like maybe do things that are, that haven't been done in the animal world a little bit.
Yeah.
Certainly... I want to bring on some cool animal guests, though. Max Strong, by the way, is in the house. He's right over here.
He's in the corner.
And he's going to, next week, I'm going to have Max on. If you guys don't know, he's got a really great Instagram page. Go check him out. So those are the type of guests I want to have on for sure. Zookeepers and other animal people. And then I think that, some of our friends, right, like, Brent
musicians.
Burns. Right, yeah, musicians like Kerry King from Slayer or Brent Burns from the Minnesota Wild, or, we have some football friends and stuff like that.
He's on the Sharks now, San Jose
Sharks.
Yeah,
it's like, Minnesota Wild.
that was kickback.
That was a long time ago.
So, San Jose Sharks, sorry about that, Burnsy. But, these are people that are, like, we know through animals, so we can talk about their life, as a professional athlete or musician or whatever it is.
And how they got into liking snakes, reptiles in general, even because that's not their profession, but they still enjoy it, like, a lot, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what I'm saying is I think you can expect a lot of that from this. And, of course, we'll have the super chat going all the time and the chat going to where we can answer questions. Jay's over there, right, Jay?
That's right, bud.
Yeah, pull that shit up, Jay.
Jay, can you pull that shit up?
Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, I do swear in real life. I try not to swear on the videos because I always want to keep them very, family friendly.
he just said, I do swear in real life. Like what?
Like so nice.
I know. I'm sorry, guys, but
Kevin McCurley always says that I'm like Mr. Rogers or something.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I love his
golly gee Willie
impersonation of you. It's hilarious.
But I do. I try not to be like Lori and swear like a sailor all the time. But but we do. So
we're only human,
Exactly. You know what?
Nobody's perfect.
You got to deal with life the way it deals with you.
Yeah.
You know what?
Swears at you?
Yeah. You do a lot of stuff that makes me swear a lot. So I blame mostly you and the stress that you put on me.
It used to not be this way.
Yes,
my mom used to never swear.
Literally, that is true.
Ever. I mean, like, it went from 0 to 100 real quick.
It did, because you know what?
What?
Life.
I became a teenager.
You were part of it.
What happened.
You were part of it.
Yeah.
You were part of it.
Yeah.
Along with some other things that, definitely.
We'll get into that in the later date.
Yeah,
it's too early for that.
So my point is that although we'll try to keep it kid friendly for the most part, there will be some language from time to time, and I apologize in advance. We're not going to swear just to swear, but if you see, if the time is right. Like when I did Kevin's.
The time is right. When the time is right, we might just drop an F-bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, I think people were surprised to hear me swear on Kevin's podcast because I don't swear on my YouTube channel. But I just wanted to give people warning if they've got like a 6-year-old watching or something like that. The podcast, you never know. There might not be swearing, but there might be. Just wanted to kind of give.
That was a long segment on just swearing.
Yeah, just on swearing. Yeah. So
that's every segment with you. That's the thing. You talk so much.
Yeah, that was the thing.
That's
right?
why this is perfect.
So, so Lori wanted to start a podcast on her own, and so did Noah. Noah and Eric are going to also start a podcast.
Oh yeah, hopefully, especially once the actual room is built, it'll be a lot easier because
Yeah, this is a pain.
Yeah,
this is hard.
Yeah, this is just a makeshift version. Obviously, we're going to have an entire room that will be built where we can just walk in and get going. But Lori has already said that I'm not welcome on her podcast.
Wow.
I did not say that, did I?
Yeah, I know you did say that.
Yeah, I think
said
I
that
recall
multiple
that.
times if I'm not mistaken.
I just
kind of rude.
It wasn't meant for rude. It was meant just because you talk and you talk a lot. So whenever you come on anything, you just take over because you just talk. So that was where I was coming from on that.
Yeah, and in your podcast, there's not going to be talking then, I presume, huh?
Just silence.
Just silence?
Silence.
It's like an ASMR.
All you'll hear is just wine
Sometimes
being
I
sipped
hate you both
and
so
coffee
much.
being brewed.
And speaking of wine,
Yes. What's in this cup right here?
Wine. Listen, this was a really, really hard day.
That is some
I needed
strong
to
stuff.
I literally walked next door to the gas station and got a bottle.
She
just
did.
to get through the rest
Middle
of the
day.
It was towards the end of the day.
Yeah, but
no, I think it was towards the middle of the day. But I will say this: I can't. Lori likes to drink some wine at night, but she's not. You're not an
Not every
alcoholic or anything like that. But I've never seen you drink wine in the middle of the day.
Me neither.
At work.
It was
Must have been a rough day.
Really hard day.
It was. She brought out the medicine ball. Never seen that before.
What was up with
She
that?
was just sitting on it.
She was sitting on a medicine ball today.
I've been doing all the bookkeeping and hours of sitting there. Like I've had this thing for. Yeah. It's something that a lot of people do in offices when that's what they do is because
what do you mean?
it changes it up. Well, it changes it up because it helps your back not hurt and
really?
And you're also like engaging your core.
Interestingly
Maybe we
enough,
should sit on medicine balls.
Interestingly enough, when I was down at Universal Rocks, he was working on something where with schools, instead of sitting at the desk, you would actually be standing on this almost like a ball type of thing that you have to balance.
Oh, like a booster ball?
It sounds
Yeah.
like the worst experience
supposedly-
ever.
Supposedly just with...
As if schoolwork's not hard enough.
Then you
Now
gotta
you have to balance.
Yeah.
and get the math right.
Never happening.
Well, apparently it helped the kids focus.
Yeah, because they have to stand. They can't relax.
I like to see these studies.
Attention.
Who made that up?
Do
I
they
don't
whip
know.
them too to keep them on the balls?
Hey, listen,
Oh.
depends what school you're in, I guess. But so wine is what
Being
you're-
consumed.
is being consumed, and so you guys are going to
Well,
see
I'm not
Lori.
going to lie. I was trying to think if I did a podcast, how I would do it.
Drunk
And-
every time?
Drunk.
Well, actually, what came to mind was that show Drunk History.
Ah.
And I thought that was a really good
So, like,
kind of idea for a podcast.
by the end of the podcast, you're just hammered.
Yeah. I mean, think about the conversations you'd have. Like, it'd probably get pretty fun and crazy. I don't know. It's just
I
a
mean,
thought.
like,
It's just a thought.
you're not wrong, but like, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I'll just go with it.
I mean, I'm not saying that is, but I don't know. Like, let me know if you think it's a good idea.
It's just
It's
Well,
an
Lori's
called the
idea.
always-
wine cast.
Yeah, Lori's always
I like
a-
it.
And by the way,
It's not
I still like Locked and Loried. I think should be the name of your podcast.
I'll give that on a scale from 1 to 10. It's like a 6.3.
6.3? I think it's like an 8.5.
8.5.
I don't have
Let us
any-
know in the
I don't
chat.
I don't have any
Locked and
ideas,
Lori.
Let
so-
us know in the chat. what
Yeah,
you
drop
guys
some
think.
comments right now. Let us
Yeah.
know, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys think Locked and Loried? Like,
Or
how good
if
of a name
it's even
is
worth
that?
doing. Maybe I shouldn't even do one on my own. I don't know.
Who? Well, the real test is like, what if we don't even have to make separate ones, right?
Yeah.
What if we just combine on this channel, checking in, and
Whoever
we just
does it, whatever.
and we
Doesn't
just
even to be
have
separate.
yeah, exactly.
But I'm not allowed on most of them because you guys won't let me on your podcast.
Yeah, but you're going to do a
I
lot
can
on
let
your
you
own
on mine.
anyways with your friends.
I don't
and
know. Let us
people,
know what you
so-
guys think about
You
that.
know,
That's an option.
true.
But
that is a good
but
idea.
obviously, I think the Through Story is number one. I think that we all have a lot of interests that are probably even more than reptiles and animals. I mean, I
Yeah.
know I'm interested in almost everything. I'm
Me
curious
too.
about. But
Me too.
but at the same time, we're a family that runs reptile businesses. I mean, obviously,
We have a
BHB
lot of
and
stories.
Reptarium, and yeah, it's been a wild life. I mean, you figure,
Very.
I can't imagine many people lived a weirder life than we've lived in the last 30-something years, and obviously since Snowy's been around 20 years, and I think those
Since
stories.
this guy's been around.
Yeah.
Things
Well,
got
at least
interesting.
I will say this. Our daughter Jade, which a lot of people don't even know we have a daughter. I love you, Jade, by the way. She actually grew up in the back of like driving in a van to reptile shows
Yeah.
our whole life because back in the day we used to do. I think what was it the most
Goodness.
shows we did in a year? I think was 42
It was crazy.
shows.
Literally every single weekend.
42.
And there
we
was
were
some-
on the
It's a
road
lot.
Yeah.
going somewhere to do a reptile show.
Yeah, and there was obviously remember the Columbus, Ohio / Chicago weekends.
Yep.
Those are
Back
two.
to
So
back,
we
yep.
would literally pack animals because we'd work all day. Then we'd pack animals at like 9 o'clock at night until like 2 in the morning, and then we'd leave at like 2:30 in the morning, drive all the way to Columbus, Ohio, get there at like 6:30, do the show.
Up, do
Yeah.
the
Yeah, do
show.
the show until 4 or 5, then break down and drive 7 hours to Chicago just to get a few hours of sleep. Do the show in Streamwood, which of course now my buddy Scott does it, but it used to be in Lee Watson's barn. And then we drive home after that. And,
But they were a lot. You know what? It's funny. It's crazy to think what we did, but on the other hand, there's a lot of really good memories.
Yeah.
Because there was a group of us,
Yeah.
all from Michigan, that would all do that. So
Yeah.
we would all kind of caravan together, and we would hang out at the shows, and then we would share stories.
Bionic
Like,
Burgers.
Yes,
Remember
we always
Bionic
went
Burgers?
to
Yeah.
get Bionic Burgers
Yep.
when we went to Streamwood.
I mean,
so
Yeah, it was
was a
called the
lot.
Assembly Lounge. It was in the parking
oh
lot.
wait, the mozzarella cheese.
Oh yeah,
sticks.
that was.
had to
I
have
literally
those.
would go to Chicago just for those mozzarella cheese sticks. To be honest with you,
But I
We're a
mean, like,
wedge.
if you think about it, though, that's that's a lot of hard work. But like, that's what it takes to become what you guys are today.
I think that's another
without
thing that.
that,
Yeah, I think that's
you wouldn't
another
be
thing
who
that
you
I'm
are.
always trying to preach is just the work ethic, and we've worked really hard our whole life, and it's been but it's been a great experience, and so regardless, obviously we spent so many years, traveling around all over the country. Noah, you were like young when we kind of slowed down a little bit, so you
Yeah.
remember some of it, I'm sure.
I remember a lot of it, but I remember when we stopped doing it too. It was like it just got slower and slower, and then just kind of stopped doing it.
Yeah.
It's something I miss. I mean, I
Yeah.
talked about this a little bit with Kevin as well when I was on his podcast, how, it sucks that, that it doesn't feel like maybe we're that welcomed at the reptile shows anymore. And I don't know if that's the right term for it, but
I don't think that's true. I think just we personally phased out of it. It's different. It's a different time. It's a different world. Back when what we were talking about, like I said, there was camaraderie. Like we were all there, and even though we were selling the same animals, nobody really was like cutthroat, or everybody was still friends. And then over the years, that whole thing changed, whether it was, I don't know, certain people getting into the hobby / business, and then all of a sudden just the whole thing started where people started backstabbing and started hating everybody. Like, that didn't exist back then, which also made it fun. So I think right now the difference is you can still go and have friends, but there's a lot of competition, I guess, is basically what it is. So I think that's what you're feeling is, which we would never do anyways, because were not competition
Yeah,
with
no.
most people, but back before we stopped, I think that was what it was. It wasn't so much we weren't welcome, we were just looked at as, oh God, competition. You know what I mean? So
You know, and again, I don't want to ever, you know, I don't want this to be like a through story talking about the negatives or anything like that. But since it's the first one, we can talk about it a little bit, just how, get it off the table right now. Just how, you know, I've talked about how, like Daisy is a perfect example, right? That there's, you know, that people will continuously post that Daisy has mouth rot. You know, I mean, even though we've had all kinds of vets look at her, they come in, they check everything. Obviously, she doesn't have mouth rot. But, like, when people say, whether it's Daisy or whatever there is about what we do, if they say it enough times, people just believe it.
oh, that's
You
true.
know, and-
With
and
anything
it's
in the world,
anything,
that's
yeah.
exactly. Anything that's not true, but yet exactly. People say it enough.
I guess it's just weird.
So.
And again, I don't want to, you know, continue to dwell on this. Maybe that's why I'm trying to get it out of the way now. Is it's weird that out of, you know, everybody that we sometimes get like targeted is somehow we're bad people and we don't care about the animals and stuff like that. And I don't pay attention to the hate anymore. I just think it's weird that, like, someone even tweeted the other day to me, they're like, I don't really like this guy, but I hope that, you know, things go well or something. I thought, like, that's a weird tweet, you know? I mean, like, I don't like this guy, like, and I just think, like, what does that mean? Like, what, you know, what, like, why
You
don't
know,
you like?
yeah, I don't know. I think the difference is that
Everyone has a different opinion.
We put ourselves out there
Yeah.
more than most people do, just because that's just what we do between YouTube or whatever. And then the more you're put out there in front of people, the more people will throw opinions or do whatever,
Yeah.
whether it's true, whether it's not, whether they're doing it to get attention. So, like, yeah, I mean, you know, I've always been like, who
Well, you know,
cares?
you've been
You
able
know
to
what I
brush
mean?
it off, and I've, you know, and I've said I've learned over the last 6,
Yeah.
8 months in particular, maybe even the last year, to not worry about it. Like,
No,
I don't.
you definitely
Yeah.
have gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I used to
and I
obsess
think
over
that's
it.
Honestly, you could almost flip it and see it as a sign of success.
Yeah.
Because
No, yeah.
it seems like, the more popular, the more seen you are, the more haters or the more negative people
That's-
are going to come out. Because
that's
that gets
what it is.
Right, because that gets them attention. So,
Well, you're just reaching more people. And
yeah.
I've
So-
said this before, is just, you know, it's impossible to get everybody to like you.
Oh, yeah.
It's just impossible. Nobody in the world, even people like funny like you, back when Will Ferrell was like making great movies and stuff like that, you would be like, oh my god, I love him, and then just somebody would be like, oh no, like I actually really hate Will Ferrell, and then we're like, how, like we laugh so hard when we're watching him. How could you A, not laugh, and B, hate him? It's
Yeah.
the same exact thing, but just flipped with you. Like,
I guess it's,
people
you know, then
enjoy
people
you,
will
other
say-
people don't.
When I say that, when I'll go like, yeah, you know, it's just, you know, made jealousy or something like that, then people will come back and say, you know, that's such an arrogant thing to say, you know, like you're so,
Well,
you
of
know,
course they are. But again,
you know.
you're never going to make everybody happy.
It's not
So
possible.
it's not even worth trying.
No, and
It's
I
not.
kind of, I guess maybe that's another. I mean, I've wanted to podcast for so long, for so different, you know, for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that's the other thing, right? Is that, you know, maybe people get to know us a little bit more than, you know. I mean, I get the fact. I always say that, you know, the vlog, although it's part of our life, it's also like the best 15 minutes of the day. You know what I mean? So it's not like you don't see the real us.
24
You know,
hours.
you don't see like the ups and downs of everything, and also, you know, I'm obviously a lot more high energy on the vlog, and in the
Yeah.
sense that, you know, although I always have a lot of energy, I'm you know, I always say I'm me plus one on the vlog.
Yeah, I couldn't live with you.
Yeah.
Vlog, Brian.
Vlog Brian,
No,
yeah.
That would not happen.
So maybe that's the other thing I think of, is maybe that's another thing for the podcast, that, you know, people will see us for who we are, and certainly, you know, maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know. But yeah, I don't know that, you know, there's so many things about it that I think, but I you know, I don't know how you guys are. I'm excited that we're finally doing this. Been
Me
talking
too.
about it a while, and to finally get there. How's the chat going, Jay? There's no chat? Oh. Okay, no chat, huh? I wonder if there's a chat on my phone or
But
anything
yeah,
like
check
that.
it out. Check it out. There's some
You
chats.
know, this is the first one, so we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there's
Let's
a
just
lot.
hope we're live.
Yeah, exactly.
Are
we
we
go
live?
through the whole
Talking to
thing.
ourselves, that's fine.
You know what? That's fine. You know.
We are live? All right, good.
That's
Okay,
good.
well,
at least we're
we
live.
know
I'm going to
that.
just check. You guys can talk
All right.
about some other things while I'm checking our...
So did you have any thoughts? I know that you wrote down a few ideas. What were like one of those?
Well, so I was driving to work and I heard a story.
Which
on
day?
the radio.
Today?
It was actually
Yeah, there's a lot of chat going
Today?
on. by the way.
actually I think it was yesterday driving in.
Yesterday.
So yeah, so I heard the story that there was this chick Uber driver.
Uber chick. Got
Yes.
it.
Woman Uber driver.
Okay, woman.
So she was driving her client, and then they're just talking. And as they're talking, she
Yes.
starts telling her story.
Okay.
And she's like a single mom. She works during the day. I think they said like doing hair, and then she does Uber at night to
Okay.
make bill. You know, make
Yeah,
money
yeah,
to
yeah.
pay the bills.
course.
And she's also going to college because she wants to get her
Trifecta.
law degree.
Sure.
But they're talking, I guess, and then she says, yeah, I actually had to stop taking classes because I wasn't able to make payments, and they wouldn't let me take any more classes till
Right.
I paid more money or whatever. So, you know, again, obviously they're chatting it up, and this is all told.
Okay.
So the next day, the school calls her and
Ooh.
says, hey, we just want to let you know your bill has been paid in full,
Ooh.
and you're able to take classes.
That's exciting.
Well, come to find out,
The Uber driver did?
the rider, the guy she gave the ride
Oh,
to, was
okay, so-
obviously a wealthy guy
Mm.
that
Nice.
paid for her thing.
That's cool.
So she was all excited. She finished her classes. She graduated with her
Nice.
associates. He came to the ceremony or whatever. So now she is, how old was she? She was in her, no, I'm trying to think because this is part of the story. She was in her early 40s, I think.
When she got
Yeah,
The
this-
money?
right now, yeah. Like
No,
Okay.
so this was like 15 years ago.
No.
Or no, this
No,
happened now.
This is recent,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So it just happened probably like last year or something like that because she just graduated. or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
So she was able to finish, get her associates. So now her plans are, like I said, she's in
Okay.
her early 40s. She's like, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to get my bachelor's and then I'm going to go get my law degree. And they were
Jeez.
like, wow, you know,
What?
blah, blah, blah.
She needs another Uber.
And this is, wait, no, this is me. Okay, so I'm dying, and this is why I wanted to talk about
Why
it.
were you
because
dying?
Because
I don't
most
get it.
people, okay, you hear that story, you're like, oh, wow, like good
How
for
nice,
her.
like, of
She's
that
going to go
dude.
get her stuff, you
Sure.
know, and now she's going to finish. I'm thinking, okay, so you are 40-something years old, you just got your associates, now you got to get your bachelor's, and then you're going to get your law degree? Are you going to be like freaking 70 years old when you're going to start to be a lawyer?
Listen,
Like,
doesn't matter how
Dang.
old you are.
So
to
that whole
start your
story,
career.
that whole story was just to hate on that woman.
No, I'm not
Wow.
hating. I'm just saying
That was hate.
This is how
That was
it's
rough,
not.
man.
But I'm just thinking in my head. This is how I think. Is like, wow, really? Like,
You started
What?
a little late now, didn't you?
100%. And like, by the time you get all your shit, you're gonna be so damn old. You're just gonna start to be a lawyer.
Well, I
Like,
hope she's not
is that-
listening.
well,
Maybe, yeah, maybe she just wants to learn. Maybe-
Listen,
and there's
if you
nothing-
are,
there's
I
nothing-
believe in you.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong
Okay.
with
Look
that.
at your mom. Your
but
mom
that's
did
just
that.
what I'm saying.
Look at Judge Judy. She's old.
Yeah, she's,
She's old as hell.
She is
But
old.
she's been
I actually
she's
saw
been a
her.
judge for a long time.
So
but
what?
I'm
She
just
was
saying
just on a show
that's
yesterday.
Just me. So your brain didn't go there
no.
when I was
When-
telling the story.
When I
No,
thought
no, no.
about it, I
I
thought
thought it was a nice story.
it was kind of the man to give money, and I hope that I could be in that position
And
one
I was
day.
thinking maybe
Yes.
the story was going to end with like she became wealthy and
Exactly, and gave
And
back
gave
to
back to
him.
someone.
no,
Yeah,
she's
something.
going to spend the rest of her life going to school to become a lawyer and then hopefully practice law before she dies.
Jesus.
sheesh. Now we know where Noah got his negative attitude from time to time.
Okay.
I am just looking at reality,
Yeah.
you know. Go more power to you. If you
Well,
want to
your
go to
mom-
school to the
how
day you
old was
die,
your-
go ahead.
I
How old
don't.
was your mom when
I'm
she
done
went
with
for her
school.
master's degree? It was like 40 something, right?
Yeah, but this woman just finished her associate, so she still
Yeah.
has to do her
She still got-
bachelor's and law school. So
Which
my
is
mom
like
was able to
7?
get her master's, I think, before she was 50, and then she was able to do her job for.
And by the way, the
15
chat is
years or
working.
It is.
Yeah, the chat's working. Sorry that Jay can't pull it up right now. We'll fix that. Again, this initial podcast we're going to have issues with.
Kinks, you know?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
This is
but-
all new to us.
Yeah, and
you
Jay will
know?
be able to know as we get going. A couple things. Obviously, we'll have Jay. will have a mic so he can, butt in and tell us something significant in
Please
the
don't use your
chat.
butt.
Also, we can make Jay pull up like video for us.
Hey,
We'll be
Jay,
like, hey Jay, pull
pull
that
that
shit
shit
up, all
up.
right?
Jay.
All right, Jay, pull that shit up. So that way we can pull up like a Google, something if we want to talk
Just to
about a particular
Google.
thing. Just to Google.
Just for fun.
Just Google.
Pull up a Google.
Yeah. So, what do we, what are you thinking about frequency of the podcast? I mean, do you guys have any issues with that? I mean, I don't think I want to have a schedule. I don't want to be like Wednesday at 5. I kind of want to do it whenever we want to. And I know
think it
from a
needs-
viewer standpoint that might be a little bit difficult because people like to plan like, oh, tonight we got this, but I kind of don't want to be held to that. I mean, what do
I
you
think
guys
it should be at least weekly.
Oh, I think we'll do 1 a week. We might do 5 a week. I mean, if we have a bunch of cool stuff to talk
Yeah.
about or guests that are in town or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. If and I wanted to know what you guys think. Like, maybe let's just do them whenever we have either us have interesting things to talk about or one of us has a guest that is interesting that we'd like to do. Like, I mean, if something significant happened, let's say in the reptile hobby, like let's say some bill is passed or when the Lacey Act was going down or got released, we could do a podcast just on that type of stuff. Or maybe you wouldn't be interested, Lori, but I would.
I don't know anything about that stuff.
But I'm just saying, if something significant, we could jump on for that.
Yeah.
But also, I already have including like I said, Max coming on next week. I probably already have like 20 guests lined up, over the next
that's
few
good.
months. So what do we just decide? Just whenever.
I think
I think that's what we said.
Well, you
whenever.
didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything.
I think. Just do it. You know what I mean? Just go for it.
I think at
Like
this point,
Forrest
it's just going to
Gump.
be what it's going to be. We'll find out.
It'll be a lot easier when we have an actual podcast room and we don't have to spend.
Yeah,
Jay doesn't have to spend
can't wait for
45
that.
minutes setting up the podcast or tearing it down.
it's gonna be great.
So, Jay, just every morning, Jay, come
Just
in
get
the
this
morning and just get
ready.
this set up just in case we want to use it. And then
Yeah.
we'll tear it down at the end of the night when we don't use
When
it.
we don't use it, yeah.
Yeah. Jay, thanks, Jay.
Thanks,
Pull
Jay.
that shit up, Jay. All right, so that's good. So now that we have that discovered. So, obviously, significant thing happening right now. We're expanding the Reptarium. How's that been, Lori?
Smells like metal, burning.
Oh,
metal.
yeah, when you're next door when they're cutting metal, yeah. But
Yeah. No, I mean we're in full swing, so it's
It's
chaotic
exciting.
and busy and a million things going at once. But that's
you know
the way
what
it goes.
sucks about
What
this?
sucks?
And it's very distressing to me,
What?
is like everything we do with the expansion is exponentially more expensive than I expected. And we've done a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm very well aware, and I think I told you that at the beginning, and you got mad at me when you showed me the budget, and I told you, okay, this is what you think it is. It's going to be X number more, and you were like, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay.
Did I tell you I
whatever.
talked with the heating and cooling today?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So listen, I thought you would just drop some stupid trunks into the ceiling, but apparently, they need to, do like some return air thing, which I still don't understand because we didn't really do that here, right? But I guess we don't have that many rooms, but
this is the difference is we, for good, bad, or otherwise, we went in there and we did a lot of demolition, which
Yeah.
we did not do here.
Yeah.
And hindsight is 20/20 as always. I think if we would have went at it different, it
How do
could
you
have been
think?
different.
different like
but-
what? We had to do the demo.
Well, I think we could have been more thrifty with what we did and did a little bit different. Saved
Well-
stuff, reused stuff.
Maybe the lights. That's about the only thing we could have saved out of everything. I do agree with the light thing for sure. But so anyways, heating and cooling, I thought it was going to be I thought $2,500 was going to be expensive because all we need to do is drop the trunks onto the thing, right?
I know, that's what you told me.
But it was $6,700.
Oof.
Yeah, $4,000
a lot more.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should get another quote.
That's not a bad idea. But everything has been more. But that being said, the Reptarium for me is, I mean, it's my dream, right? And I just want to do it right. And I think that's the hard part, right? Is like, whether it's enclosures or other things, it seems like every time I turn around, I'm like, yeah, but for an extra $1,000, this would be so cool. And then
Yeah.
So Noah's inheritance is going away pretty quickly.
That's fine. I'll make my own.
Yes,
Yeah,
good.
there was never
good.
an inheritance. So.
But it's pretty fun. So we're February 3rd. I've kind of backed myself into a corner here pretty heavy. It's got to be February 3rd now because some
For
people
what?
are flying in
What's
already.
February 3rd?
The install. So that's when the trucks show up. So that's just
God.
less than 4 weeks away.
Less than a month.
Less than a month. Yeah, less than 4 weeks away. Like 26 days from now, install
How
goes in.
far are you from?
Well, I mean, you
doing
figure.
that?
I mean, the hard part is that we have to get inspections in order to move on to the next level, right? So, at first I was only really worried about Universal Rocks and getting done with the cages. Now I'm equally as concerned about getting done with the walls and the floor and which, by the way, tomorrow at 9 o'clock, the floor guy shows up.
That's
to,
good.
do some samples, but
At least stuff's happening.
oh, it's happening every day.
It's
Things
all
are happening.
Yeah, it's all happening now. It went from planning to now stuff's getting done, and that's basically it. Every day
good.
something's going on, so it'll get there.
Yeah. Are you going to do the foot spa?
Am I
Mom's
gonna
running
do
the
it?
foot spa?
Oh yeah. How about the snake massage too? Yeah. Mom runs the foot spa and the snake massage.
How's she going to do both?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just let's make it happen.
But no, anyways, we're off track.
Shut
My
up.
point is that
Yeah,
it's
let's
pretty
talk
exciting.
About something.
Something fun.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, well, that's fun to me.
Stress.
It's not really fun.
It's kind of
a lot of work.
stressful.
Exactly.
It's really stressful. It is
Exactly.
very stressful, but it is
I think we
exciting.
should go back to like
It is kind of
the
exciting.
Uber driver.
Uber
No, that
driver.
story was
So yeah, that story was.
lame.
I thought that. Well, let me back up for a second.
Oh
Like,
God! Now we have to
No.
talk about this again.
no, I don't understand because you asked her what she wanted to talk about.
I asked her
On
if
her
she had any
podcast.
topics.
And it was about the Uber
It
driver.
was just a story about
It's a
a
story
lady.
that I just wanted to share my thoughts on.
Okay.
Isn't that the kind of stuff you do on these things?
You can do whatever you want, Lori.
Or are you going to just have a list of boring things you're going to rattle on about?
Lori, I think it's fine. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, thank you.
Can we talk about the drought in Detroit?
the drought?
Yeah, the drought.
Drought of what?
The drought of success
Drought
of
is-
our sports teams.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
You can save that for your podcast. You can save that one for. But yeah, Noah is
And just-
obsessed with
I'm
the
just
lack.
really,
He
just
is
real
distraught.
quick, just real quick. I just have to get my emotions out
Okay,
here.
you can do that before we move on.
It's really depressing, guys.
It is. It's a hard time to be a Detroit sports fan.
We have nothing. It would be one thing
Michigan,
if it.
Michigan State basketball.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
like,
a sports guy, so big
it's
guy. so-
different because it's even with those, we don't win anything, right? Sure, we go pretty deep in March Madness every year,
Yep.
like usually, typically.
Yep.
But we never win.
Yep.
Right, and I'm not even the biggest college basketball fan.
Yeah.
I like the professional sports more. I like college football, but what I'm saying is it's so hard to be a fan of sports and your hometown teams in every single sport are the bottom, at the bottom, every single team.
You just have
And it's really
to-
sad.
Yeah, you just have to know what you have, and you just have to go with it. I can liken it
What's
to
that mean?
sometimes when you were a kid in your sports teams. They
Oh
were
my gosh,
terrible.
you're gonna
and
go
we
there.
knew what we had, and we knew what we were going every time we went to the game, but we still supported
My
you.
teams weren't that bad. There were some teams I was on that were
there were
bad,
some bad ones with you and with Jay.
but I had good ones too.
No, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm just saying I just was
Man.
likening it to that.
So I just
Damn,
feel
Noah.
bad
That's
for
rough, man.
like people like whoever is like lives in New England, right?
Yeah.
And they had the Patriots.
They're just spoiled.
No,
Well,
no,
now
no.
they've got 10 years of
but
terrible coming up.
they don't even
They got
understand
10 years of terror.
Because-
You just predicting it, or you
Yeah.
Nostradamus?
because they're no, for real though. Because these teams like New England, they are just always winning Super Bowls, blah
Yep,
blah blah.
that's for sure.
While Detroit is just like we're always 0-16. It's
Well,
like
not 0 and
what the
16,
F?
But yeah. Okay.
Anyways, that's enough of that. But
Yeah,
all
you-
I'm saying is I'm sad, and if there's any billionaire watching, please buy the Lions, the Pistons. You can leave the Red Wings alone. I think we're fine there. Please just somehow get rid of our
God.
ownership in Detroit.
Yeah. So
The end.
The end. Yeah, that's good.
Had to get that off my chest.
Sorry. By the way, I have a little bit of cough. Do you know why I have a cough, Laurie?
No,
Yeah.
Because
because you get.
I was
every
working
sickness that
here.
goes
No,
around.
no, because I was working
know,
here,
you're
and you know
sick.
I am unbelievably allergic to Timothy hay.
Timothy.
And you went in there and like made like the linest cloud of dust
When?
of Timothy hay earlier today.
What about
Oh,
Jim?
and you were in the whole building.
Well, I
when
was
that
just right
happened?
here when you did it, and I knew I should have left because now I'm screwed.
What about Jim Hay?
Jim Hay?
Yeah.
What's Jim Hay?
What?
You ever messed with Jim Hay?
Oh gosh, there's got to be some terrible.
Timothy Hay?
Timothy
You
Hay.
ever mess
no.
with his brother Jim?
No, I haven't messed with Timothy Hay.
All
So
That's a bad-
topics.
You're not even a dad. That's a bad dad
that,
joke.
that is a bad dad joke. So I think, again, topic wise, and this I just
Why are we
want to.
still talking about topics?
Well, no, I want to talk about so people
get
that
it.
are tuning in for the first time have an idea of what they can hear. I think there'll be times where we talk about, our past with reptiles, and we'll talk obviously about cool animal, not just reptiles, but all animal stuff for sure. But I think, just like I've said, a podcast to me is a way to express your kind of curiosity about everything, and
Somebody's trying to
and,
come
and
in.
I'm curious. Oh yeah, do we have someone coming in here? We're right at the entrance of the Reptarium, and we do have an event tonight, which is actually our Century night, which I always love to do. By the way, although I do have a call, Lori. By the way, a little after 7 o'clock. So at 6:30 we have Century night, and it goes for an hour. So you're going to be alone for about 10 minutes or so in the thing, if that's cool with you. But anyways.
Well, it's not, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, sorry. Well, yeah, it's always good to, yeah. No, you might have to stick
You're not,
around
yeah,
for
you're
this.
not just throwing me under the bus just because we're on a podcast. No.
Hey, you're going to be doing this whole thing by yourself.
Exactly.
All right, how's that
Guess
sound?
what?
You're
No.
live. How's that sound?
But
Sounds like I'm gonna get more
regardless,
wine.
oh, God. Oh, no. Sensory night.
oh my
Come to
gosh.
Sensory night where Lori's wine drunk.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have a blast.
This is good for business right here. This is good for business. But I think
Drink
it's,
some water, eat some bread. You'll be fine.
There's so many topics from, like, it's interesting, when you talk about future guests. I want to, that I'm like super into cryptozoology, like.
Which
the
is
study
what?
of like cryptids, right? Which is like
Cryptids.
Bigfoot, anything
Okay.
that any animals that are
Bigfoot does
not
interest me.
like
Really
actually
does.
substantiated as really living, right?
Okay.
But
Loch
some
Ness Monster.
Loch Ness Monster would be a cryptid.
Aliens.
But there are cryptids that have been proven, that used to be
Real?
cryptid. And
Really?
then now they've been
Like what?
discovered. Well, like there was a great ape over in, I think it was in Vietnam, if I'm
Really?
not mistaken, just, in the 90s was discovered after like 200 years of
Myth?
Yeah, myth. For 200 years, the locals said that they saw this 200-plus pound great ape.
That's
and
awesome.
everyone thought that they were crazy, but yet, sure enough, it got rediscovered.
That's awesome.
But there are, obviously, do I think that Bigfoot's going to get discovered anytime soon? I don't know.
Potentially.
It's possible.
I like the one that really interests me is like, I think they're called like skinwalkers.
Where's that from?
It's in like the more desert areas.
Okay.
I this isn't like 100% fact because I'm not like a professional, but if I'm not mistaken, like the Native Americans,
Okay. Oh, I've
like
heard this. Yeah, I've heard
they
this,
like
yeah.
walk on all fours. They're kind
Yeah.
of like human, but like
Yeah.
they're like all naked, like skin,
Yeah.
no hair or anything, and I think they like come out at night or something and like just steal people.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But
Interesting. Did you see a show on this?
I've seen plenty of shows, but it's been a while since the last one, so my facts could be wrong. But I know skinwalkers is a thing, and they're really creepy looking.
I mean, this sounds just like all the shows you guys watch.
Yeah,
all
I
the
watch a
time.
lot
we
of this
like
type
'em.
of stuff.
Yeah,
I do like
I
this stuff.
know. We're well
Regardless,
aware.
we have someone that we know that has written 4 books on cryptozoology.
Who?
Just someone I know.
Someone you know.
Yeah, someone I know.
You don't wanna
So I
release the
would like
name?
to have her on the podcast and talk about that. I think she'd be just an interesting guest.
Yeah.
Just because she's obviously been published 4 times, and
I want to talk to her.
yeah, I think you'd like it because we watch a lot of those shows
Yeah.
together. So that's the type of stuff I'm saying. You know, yeah, a lot of things will be kind of animal related, but not always. I don't want to do, for my friends that do reptile podcasts, I don't want them to think that I'm coming in and trying to, take on their reptile podcast, because that's not really what it's going to be.
Do you know anybody that studies aliens?
No, but I would love to. And me
Like
and Jay
the-
will talk about aliens
it?
sometime
The
on the
tall
podcast
grays?
because he believes in them deeply.
Is
And
it-
I always tell him he's crazy, but
Is it the tall
but yeah.
gray? Which one is it? Which one is it? White? There's like the whites.
There's and then there's the
grays.
Gray, I don't know. I don't know what the classifications are.
We're
It is
the
interesting though
whites.
because
That's what he said.
I don't know what that is. But
She said we're the whites.
That's what Jay said.
yeah, that's true.
No, I'm talking about aliens. We're humans.
yeah, I don't know. There's all
I
kinds
have
of
no idea. You're
classifications.
talking gibberish.
I love
to me.
aliens.
Yes.
Aliens are really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, I think that they're. We'll definitely talk a lot about that in the future because there's
Why don't
some
we just
interesting.
dive into it now?
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting information out
not.
there, and
Please.
yeah.
I want to talk about something.
Let's make that the next one.
The one that
Maybe
I
not.
think is interesting, and I again, for the record, Jay is doesn't
Skeptical.
believe in. Yeah, he's a skeptic
about everything.
about everything.
About everything.
Yeah,
You'll
But,
be like, if a
so we've got
blowfish
content.
wasn't real, and somebody told him about it, he'd be
yeah,
like,
it's not
BS.
there. It's
If
not
a
there.
demon knocked off, like it just started throwing things around here,
Yep,
you'd be like, no, it's just a windstorm.
it's true. It's true. You
But
got
what
a point.
if it was a windstorm?
It wasn't because it was a demon.
It was a demon.
It was a
Did
hypothetical.
you see the demon?
Mom,
yeah, he
was
summons
hypothetical.
it the other night. As a matter of fact, to be
that's,
honest
that's
with you.
true. If you haven't
That
seen
is
that,
true, yeah.
badchoiceknow.com.
Yeah, badchoiceknow.com.
I did see that, by the way.
But the fact is that
That what? Wait,
Oh,
real
go ahead.
quick. That was kind of weird though.
that was weird. So
That
for those of you
bang?
guys that haven't seen, Noah did a 24-hour challenge with Ivy, the green anaconda.
Yeah.
And so I obviously when he's doing 24-hour challenges like this, I always stay with him so that there's no danger and stuff like that. So sure enough, he woke me up at 3 in the morning and did his little seance-y thing where he's trying
talking to the air.
summoning the demons.
Well, apparently
But I will
more
Hey,
than the air.
Hey, I'm not summoning demons, okay? You're acting like I bring out like a
Well,
script.
you were summoning demons.
No, I just said if there's anybody here, ghosts.
Demons.
No,
I
I
didn't
think-
say the word
demons.
demons.
I
I
think
said
he was just
demons.
looking for spirits.
I said spirits
Yeah.
No, I
that
think
were
he-
human or
Or
not human.
unhuman.
I said,
That's
or
what he
not
said.
human.
Or not. What is a demon? Is
I
an
don't know.
unhuman
I'm not a professional.
spirit.
Okay. I'm not a
Okay.
professional. I had a
Regardless.
candle from Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
I lit the candle and I started speaking to the air.
You start
Okay.
speaking to the demons.
You guys
And then
watch
all
too
of a
many of
sudden-
these stupid shows. I swear to God.
But-
He's trying to reenact that Zach Bagans.
But all of a sudden,
Yeah.
there was some weird little creepy ticks and tacks, right?
Yeah.
And then there was a really loud bang.
Well, that's the
over
thing.
there.
We were here all day.
and we didn't know.
And
we still don't know what
animals,
that was.
animals move around, and chicken strip jumps at the glass. This, all those noises happen.
Sounded
This was
loud.
loud. I mean, this was like a noise I had never heard.
Yeah.
And we were in the dark with a candle.
With a candle.
With a candle. I'm laying on the floor. You're at
Romantic.
least in the cage where you could be protected at something
Protected by an anaconda.
by an anaconda.
Yes, Ivy was
Very
I literally
protected.
almost climbed in the cage with you.
You
I was
did.
so frightened.
When that bang happened, like
I freaked out.
you can like put the video in slow motion. You were
What?
scared.
It was scary.
Oh, I almost peed.
Yeah. So
It was weird. It is
I
interesting.
again, who knows? Maybe it's explainable, but I find
Probably
the
explainable.
experiences that I've had in the past with the paranormal is that, and we've talked about it.
Mhm.
That I've had a lot of experiences, and
It's best not to summon them.
yeah. Well, number one, it's best not to summon some. But what happens is that even when something really crazy happens, while it's happening, you're like, oh my god, But then, like, after you start to justify it, like, oh, it must have been something else.
Yeah.
So, like, when that was going down, I thought for sure some beast was going to come running around the corner.
A beast was
You
coming
said a
running
beast.
around the
Yeah.
corner.
I
thought
didn't think
so.
that.
Oh my God!
No,
I hope you could have got that on film.
Oh,
well,
I
we would have. Yeah, we would have. That would
I
have been a
would've got
viral
that.
video. But
That'd be dope.
but now, days later, I'm like, well, maybe it was like an alligator.
Yeah,
maybe it was
that's probably what makes the most sense.
it's right. Occam's razor, right? But I I don't know.
Who knows?
Occam's razor is the most. Occam's razor is the theory
Occam's
that
razor.
It's the best
Whatever.
razor to shave
I know,
your beard.
exactly. This
Occam's.
podcast brought to you by Occam's
Occam's
razor.
yeah,
razor.
it's basically the theory that the most easy explanation is usually the right explanation. So is
I've
it
heard the theory, but I've not heard that.
yeah, it's
The
not-
most
yeah.
easy explanation is the right explanation.
Yeah.
So,
So
an alligator hit the glass.
that would be Occam's,
Occam's
razor.
razor.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Or a raging beast was running around the corner.
Or it could be a demon.
It doesn't-
So what's the chances?
either
And
or.
then what's that called?
I don't know what that's called. That's called oh shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyways, I like to talk about paranormal stuff. I also like to
too.
talk about alien stuff. I like to talk about cryptozoology. Really, there aren't too many things in life that I'm not curious about,
Law. I'm not too interested in law.
I'm interested in law. I think it's interesting.
I don't.
We won't talk politics, although I am very interested in politics.
Thank
I
you.
will
won't
never
be
talk
on- I
politics
won't
on
be
this
that
podcast.
show.
But I'd like to know from you guys, down in the comments in the chat room, stuff like that, what kind of topics you guys want us to cover. If you're okay, if I guess we cover anything, right? But as long as we kind of keep it, somewhat entertaining, hopefully. And
That's what I like. I like the entertaining things, not the boring things.
well, you're right. And we talked about this the other day when we were talking about duration of the podcast. I think there's going to be times where the podcast is a half hour or an hour, and I think there's going to be times where the podcast is 3 hours, depending on who we have on and what kind of stories. I don't know. I'm just saying there's not going to be any
I don't see myself
timeline.
being on a
It's gonna be a
3-hour
lot of pee
podcast.
breaks.
Yeah.
Unless there's a bottle of wine, maybe, or two.
Wow.
2 bottles of
Two
wine.
bottles in 3 hours.
But-
3 hours is a long time.
But Laura, you had mentioned that
That's a lot of wine.
you would never listen to or watch an hour or 2 hour podcast. So
Well,
I've
listen,
listened to 4-hour
I
podcasts.
Right.
am not the norm, I guess, because
No, you're not.
No, I know I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm
Because most
agreeing.
people nowadays watch hours of YouTube, listen to tons
Every
of
day.
podcasts. I don't do that. I don't know. I use YouTube if I need to look something up, but I don't watch shows on it. I'm more of a, Netflix, Hulu. I
Yeah.
watch shows. I like funny, entertaining if I'm going to do stuff.
Well,
which
that's
I
what's
know
on
there's
YouTube.
I know there's YouTube too, but that's just
mean,
not my thing.
yeah, I get
so
that.
I've tried to listen to a few podcasts, and same thing. Like I said, it's hard for me to find something that is entertaining.
you're trying to say that we're not going to be entertaining?
Oh, I don't know.
You
I
like
said,
good-
I don't know.
listen,
You
there's
like
an
Good Mythical
audience.
Morning?
There's audience for everything. I do. I like it when I watch it with you, but it's not. I don't search it out on my own. But those
Yeah.
guys are entertaining to
I
me.
like those
So
guys.
I think that's.
Well, right. But my point is that we'll have obviously the clip channel that you can digest.
Yes,
you
and that
know,
would be more
8-minute
for
clips.
me because
Yeah.
I would, if I'm going to do something, I would watch shorter clips versus.
So we'll break this down. I
something
mean,
that
like
would be
this
hours, but-
podcast may not. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll probably put some clips out of this podcast. I don't know how many, but in a normal podcast, there might be 5, 6, 7 clips that are significant, that are 8 or 10 minutes long, something like that.
Sure.
Something like that. The other thing I'd like to talk about on this podcast that I'm real passionate. I know you're passionate about it, Laura. You would
What's that?
not be as YouTube.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I feel like everything you're saying is you, but not me.
No, that's not true because I want our life. I think there's a lot of things that
A lot of
we'll
YouTube.
talk about together.
That 10-year in review that you posted.
Oh yeah, it goes
that's
out tomorrow.
coming
It goes out tomorrow. 10-year in review. Yeah,
I was.
I looked
watching
really
that.
young, didn't I?
I was just gonna say, I mean, I was literally a baby.
In your
You were a baby, yeah.
in your
I was-
age demographic, 10 years
I
is
was-
huge because
Yeah.
you went from 10 to
10
20.
to
Yeah,
20.
I think
that's
some of those,
crazy.
and I think some of those clips were actually like 13 years
Yeah,
old.
they really
yeah.
were.
But
Dude,
still, that's,
it was,
that
I was so
demographic
young.
is huge. Like you're a child and you
I
turn
was
into an adult. For
a
us, the
child.
10-year span
Yeah.
from 30 to
Yeah, I
40
remember, like,
isn't a big
Dude,
deal.
like,
Or
Yeah.
40
like-
to 50, whatever.
I don't know how to say this without coming off as like mean,
What?
but your guys' hair was so dark.
Yeah, we've lightened up. We've
My
lightened up.
hair. What do you mean?
Like you had like,
I
and no, I mean especially Dad.
well,
Yeah, I had dark
like,
hair, which is weird.
Your
right?
hair was dark.
Yeah.
yes.
10 years
Well,
goes
yeah,
a long
because
way.
it was not gray.
I mean, I grew-
I've had every color hair. I've always had.
Oh,
dark,
yeah, I know.
light, whatever. And
Yeah.
But
now
listen.
it stays light because it hides the grays better.
But what I'm trying to say is, I came up from being this tall
Mm-hmm.
to my height now.
Yes.
You guys' hair just got lighter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I got older too.
Oh well, thank you.
I will
You're
say
welcome.
when
We
I
look the
saw that one
same.
clip of like the first snake bites ever,
I haven't seen
like,
this
oh
yet.
sheesh,
Crazy.
I look very young. I look like
That
Noah.
was
Georgie.
Yeah, that was crazy because you were it was cringy too. Those first snake bites were
Yeah,
terrible.
no. It's like I've said about this podcast, right?
Hmm.
That's what I've said the same thing. Like I'm sure we'll look back on our first podcast one day and think how silly it was sitting in the front of the reptarium,
Of course.
you know,
Yes.
with only
We'll think
you know,
that next week.
yeah,
Go
next
ahead.
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe when we end the
Right.
podcast,
I'll
we're
be
gonna
like,
think
well,
how
that was
horrible
it,
it was.
guys. We're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, this is the first time and last time you guys are going to see this podcast.
Jump on now.
But I think it's
It's
yeah,
cool
it is,
though.
yeah,
It is cool.
it is
because
cool, right?
it's literally you get to see yourself from that long ago.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what, you know, honestly,
And
one
we'll
of the
look
things
back on
I've
this,
talked about,
same thing.
and I think even daily vlogging even is more of this. I've always thought, like, isn't it going to be cool that our grandkids one day will be able to look back on everything we've
Is it
done?
going to be cool or are they going to go, what the heck?
Well, they might say what the heck, but I think
No,
it-
it'll
I
be
think
cool.
I think it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Because obviously you're going to be older when no, this is real. You're going to be older when you do have grandkids, especially for me. I'm not
Let's hope so.
expecting any time.
Yeah.
Fingers
And
crossed.
when they grow up and they actually become something that can, you know, use their brain and talk to you, because that does take a while. It does.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
they don't just come right out. and,
Yeah, that's what I
watch
mean.
YouTube.
Yeah, a couple
So-
years, yeah.
So when, let's say they're 10 years old, 13 years old.
I'm pretty sure they use their brain
No,
before that.
no, they don't. They don't. They
They
really
don't.
don't. At least I didn't.
No,
So
it took Noah until he was 20.
till,
started
this is
using
the
it.
first year I've used my brain.
Okay, well, I'm
And
not
I've
going to.
leaps and bounds. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, you're going to
Yeah.
look different when
Yeah.
they can actually communicate properly.
Is it,
And then you're going to show them these videos and they're going to be like, oh my God, Papa, that's you. Like, you look so different, so young.
I don't. Is it going to be
You know what I
weird though?
mean?
Because like I showed you that picture of Grandpa when he had like more
Ugh.
hair and dark hair, and you're
Ugh.
like, and you were like, oh my God.
That's why, yeah, but it's going to be
so
cool.
it might not be good, right?
But
but
it's
I think
still
it's-
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
to see the younger
I mean,
version.
think
have a
about think
picture.
about
Yeah.
that. If we could see our grandparents
Yeah.
when they
When
were
they were
young,
No,
in
yeah,
video form,
I
because
don't
you
even
have, pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
That-
did.
and
but
that's
yeah.
like I said, that is
That's what I
part of
mean.
why I vlog, you know, and part of why I've done it is really no, seriously, I'm that's serious to document
The
this.
video library.
Yeah, it's like a
for your
video
children
library of our
and your
life, you know.
children's
And granted, it might not be, you know, it's just animals and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, I want to get back to doing more family stuff on the vlog. You know what I mean? Where we go out and, you know, like I like getting the Christmas tree and stuff like that. And when we first, the early vlog was like that, right? I mean, there were vlogs that we didn't even do anything at BHB because we didn't have the Reptarium at the time. But remember, we did a lot of vlogs back then that didn't have anything to do
you've
with
been
animals.
all over the place with what you do for various reasons.
Yeah.
You go one way
But I mean,
or
I
the
want
other,
to,
so-
obviously, we'd like to keep it animals, but I'd like to maybe pull more of that in so that we can look back on that experience and also share it with our grandkids and stuff like that. But I mean, what a wild world we live in, right? That
Yeah.
like you can do that now. I mean, like think about it. I mean, when
For a
you know,
living.
not to make us feel old, but I mean, we
Well,
were,
it's
we were
even- it's a
before
s-
before the internet. We were around.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it
You
started.
were.
I think like the first generation. Think back to where like I don't know if you remember a few Christmases ago. Like my Uncle Richard always had the old camera, the
Yeah,
little
yeah,
whatever you call it, video
Yeah.
cameras. And so he's got, videos
Yeah,
from when I was a
VHS, yeah.
baby, every Christmas. And then, then you had audio, and then you had color, and then you had whatever. And it's basically the step beyond just doing the video is doing,
Now next is
YouTube.
virtual reality.
Well, that is coming. I mean, virtual.
Well, it's
Well,
already-
we might.
You're not
We
doing
already.
that,
sorry,
right?
yeah,
we're
You said
probably.
no,
Yeah,
you're terrified of it.
I'm not terrified. I just, I'm not joking. Like, I love video games like so much that I have to not let myself play them, because if I do, then I will never stop. And I know once I put that headset on, I will become addicted to it. So I'm literally not going to buy one because I might lose my life to it.
Gotcha. So
I literally
you'll become
will
like
do
that
that.
Real Player One, to where you just get sucked in.
Yes.
And that's where you live.
No,
and that becomes your
100%,
life.
because
which I
that's-
think a lot of people will. I think
Yes.
that movie is true.
Like,
in a
that
lot
will
of
become to
areas,
me.
yeah.
That
I mean,
that would become me.
Well, that's good that you see that and you're aware, because most
Well,
people
listen,
just
we're
do it.
probably all in a simulation right now, anyways, right? So,
So now we're going Matrix.
yeah, I mean, well, chances are pretty good
Which,
that
by
that
the
is
way,
the
that,
truth.
isn't that new movie coming out? Isn't there a new
So
Matrix
let me
coming?
just say this: it could be true,
I think
but
it
you
is.
know what? I've thought about it a lot,
Yeah,
and
it doesn't
even
matter.
if it is, who cares? Because
Nah, it doesn't.
we
that's
still
what I'm saying,
wake
it
up
doesn't
every
matter. But if you
day
think if
if
we're
you wake
at a
up.
point where we're not, I mean,
Who
virtual
cares?
reality just is in the infancy. So virtual reality is just in its infancy, and already you can get lost in a video game. What's it
Yeah.
going to be 10 years, 20 years from now? Virtual reality is going to be so good, you will get lost in virtual reality. Not just
like
a
I
video
said,
game.
It's just like that Ready Player
Well,
One.
even
or
more
whatever
so,
it is,
because that was still a
people
video game, though. I'm talking about real life.
Well,
you know,
no, they
like,
went in there and
Yeah.
lived in that whole
no, they
world.
did, but I'm just saying that I think you're going to go shopping and you're going to do this, and
Virtual
100
reality?
years from now,
You go to
we're
Walmart?
where we're sitting right now. Right now, there's a good chance that
Could
there's
be, or
The
maybe
Earth
not.
couldn't even be here in 100
That's
years.
right.
Maybe not.
You know
'cause
what I
go
mean?
back-
maybe we aren't here.
Go back when
Well,
we were
we
kids.
won't be.
Right,
'cause
this
we'll
is
be,
a virtual world. I'm just saying, there's a good chance that
It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
You know,
we
we're gonna
might be
dead
already in
soon.
that
When we
matrix.
were kids, we had the Jetsons, and that's what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
now.
we were pretty
And it's-
disappointed that.
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
So what you said could be true, but it could be the Jetsons too. So
Yeah, it's
just see.
possible. Yeah, so those of you guys that don't know, the Jetsons was a cartoon.
Oh my
and
God,
they
somebody
said that,
doesn't know what the Jetsons
What was it? Was it? It was
I
like the
don't.
early 2000s, right? Was it? Is that when the Jetsons
I think it was
were?
supposed to be.
I think it was
yeah.
like the early 2000s. They
Yeah.
were flying around in cars, and they could, But if you think about some of the stuff, look at like Star Trek from the 70s or whatever, when they had their little flip things, and
Yes.
everyone thought, now we've
Now we
got
have
our cell
phones,
phones
I know,
that
I know.
are even more
Similar,
advanced.
yeah.
They're because they can only
They don't-
talk.
they don't
We can actually
transport you, though.
video.
Weren't they
No, they
transport
don't
I use that
transport you
every
yet,
day.
But yeah,
I use FaceTime every day.
see,
I get to see somebody from wherever on the earth from my phone.
That is a pretty cool thing.
Well-
I think of that nowadays too. Like
It's
it is
weird.
cool. Like even with
It's really weird.
okay, you see that with families. Where they live far apart, but they can still be in touch with grandkids and stuff by seeing that and having.
yeah,
that's
the
the
thing.
So,
I mean,
it's
you know,
cool. But
I really saw it when we were,
it's not quite
Forrest and
Jetsons.
I were in Africa that last time, where literally.
You had nothing, and you knew what you were missing.
Yeah, no. The fact that we could GPS anywhere.
Right.
That is
two
pretty
Americans.
crazy.
Yeah, two Americans could
If
literally.
you were
I remember
in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere, Africa.
Well, that
and
was the
your
thing. We were
GPS worked.
driving to a
Like a
crocodile
satellite,
farm.
Yeah.
We were driving to a crocodile farm, and we were going down these like dirt roads and this. And I was thinking that like, is this thing taking us where we're supposed to go? And it took us right to where we're going. You got two Americans in the middle of Africa going down a dirt road to a crocodile farm, and this thing took us right there.
Right.
I mean,
That's
it's
pretty cool.
crazy to think that these days.
It's really a love-hate relationship with your phone.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Because a
live
lot
without
of times I'm on Instagram, right?
Mhm.
And this is why I uninstalled Twitter, just to give me one more relief.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling and I snap out of it and I'm like, I don't know how long I've been scrolling on Instagram.
Right.
And it's almost as if I'm like brainwashed a little bit.
No, it's a wormhole. I mean, you do that
And
with
it's
YouTube. You
really
do that with
sad.
anything. Yeah.
I get sad sometimes.
But I like
thinking
it.
about
Listen, I love it. I mean,
No.
I think it's. I know you know.
Yeah,
I
we
love-
know
I-
you
you know,
love it.
I
You
think
love
it-
it too much.
I do love it. I
Same
mean,
with damn
it is
TikTok.
crazy, but
I
it
wasn't
is.
even going to say it. The TikTok.
TikTok.
You
man.
just sometimes.
Let's talk TikTok.
No.
That's not. No.
Real quick
the
though,
TikTok.
sometimes like you have your volume up on your phone.
Yeah.
Max.
Well, that's because
Sometimes.
I'm deaf, but that's
Is it because
Is it?
because dude, like sometimes I'll be up
'Cause
in
if I
my
have
no. Let me finish. Sometimes I'll be up in my room and all I hear is da 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 da, and it just like replays over and over, and I'm like, this is so loud, and I'm in my room, like you're looking at it like this.
I can tell when you wake up in the morning because I'm downstairs.
Yeah,
I
and
hear
then
it
you just hear
downstairs.
TikTok.
Exactly.
It's
And I'm
like-
like, oh, Brian's up.
Listen, you guys might be haters, but I got 1.1 million on TikTok. So you know what I mean. No, I tell you, I love. Obviously, I love social media.
It's a love-hate relationship. That's what I mean.
There's
I
not
love
much
it
hate
too.
for me. I mean,
I love it too, but sometimes I do wonder how life would be without it.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
how life was without it.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's all. It's interesting.
Sometimes I want some peace.
Yeah.
Just some. Sometimes I just don't want people to talk to me.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Remember Casey Neistat
Yeah.
actually and it was funny because it was pretty. I think it was pretty short lived. He deleted all his apps off his phone so that the
Yeah.
only time he could go on social media was when he was on his laptop or desktop, so that he could designate when, because so often
That's a really
you just
smart
pick
idea.
up your phone. But
Yeah.
But I think it didn't last long. I know
course not. It's
when
an
we were
addiction.
when we were in Australia filming that Venom Hunter show, I remember the crew used to stack our phones on the table, and then the first person that took their phone, because you got to remember that was at the time it was Wi-Fi, right? Because now you can pretty much for $10 a day be on your phone anywhere in the world, but back then it was only Wi-Fi. So during the day when we're out filming, we don't have any connection at all. So now you sit down for dinner, everyone wants to get on the Wi-Fi and check their social media. So the deal was you stack your phones, and whoever takes their phone back first
Pays for dinner.
pays for dinner.
So you paid for dinner every night?
No, I didn't pay once actually.
Every night?
Yeah, no, my need for
I don't believe that.
my need for social media was only surpassed by my cheapness of how I didn't want to pay for everyone's
Really?
dinner.
That's
you know.
true.
Okay.
'Cause that would be expensive.
It would be. It was. I never paid
500.
once. Thank
for
you,
you.
Lori. You have no faith in me.
That's not no faith.
You just know me.
I guess you had less money back
You know
then.
so well, Deeds. So yeah. So I don't know. So how do you guys think? I mean, what do you think? How did things? How do you like the podcast?
I'm
I
excited.
Like it, right?
I'm excited. I'm just excited to start doing them, start talking. I think it's gonna help everybody.
Yeah.
Because I think this
Everybody.
is
On the
no,
planet.
this is a form. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
is exactly what I was talking about with the phone thing, right?
Yeah.
This is an hour, maybe two, if we get excited. You know what I mean? Of just pure talking and communication without looking down. Like we don't really talk like this, right?
That's true.
Ever, and that's one reason why I want to start a podcast is just to talk.
That's good. I like that. I like
I
that.
think that works.
Wow, look at
Because
that.
podcasts don't work without talking, right?
Well, yours does.
Yeah,
Your
yours does. Just
podcast
all yours is
apparently.
drinking.
No.
Let's see how
because
drunk I can
when
get
you-
before I pass
Oh
out.
my God. I just want to punch you both. Stop. I don't feel welcome on this podcast.
You are
No,
welcome.
You are a very, very big
welcome with
point
open
of
Yeah,
arms.
you just
you're a
want to
big
be
part
here
of it.
so you can say mean things to me. That's
That's
fine.
not true. That's because you're usually mean to us, and this is our retribution.
that.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
Okay, that is a
I'll
lie.
back her up on that.
I will say I do like to vilify Lori on the.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm
It's
a
just
terrible,
fun.
terrible person.
No, and obviously that's not the truth.
That's
I
not
mean,
nice.
No, it's not nice. It's not at all.
Oh
but it's
my-
fun. It's fun.
The truth comes out.
I know.
I'm
No,
not
I
a terrible
mean, you-
person,
I like
but
to-
I'm making fun of the Uber driver.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you back yourself into the corner an awful lot. But
You said you.
no, but I don't know. It's like sometimes people comment about that. You always make Lori look so mean.
I really have to pee.
You have to. So
Can I
I
do
don't
that
mean
real
to do
quick?
that. But so okay, you guys good?
Oh, okay.
Or is that it? Or I mean,
I
you guys
think we can wrap it up. I think we need to because
Okay.
we need to get
Well,
ready
listen,
for our-
guys,
Okay.
thank you for joining us. Please comment, subscribe, share, do all
subscribe.
those types of things so that we can get this thing rolling.
Also,
and yeah,
Turn
go
that
ahead.
post notification on because,
Yeah, 'cause it
like
could
we
be
said,
anytime. Yeah, it
it
could be
is
anytime.
going to be mostly random times, right? No, not scheduled
No,
unless
not
we do
scheduled.
schedule it with a guest right?
Yeah, yeah.
That
and then
will be public
and then
knowledge.
and I'll always like do an Instagram story or something like that. That
Follow us on
shouts it
Instagram.
out. But yeah, if you follow us on Instagram, but no actual schedule. We'll try not to step on other people's feet, that friends of ours' feet, when it comes to timing and stuff like that. But could be any time. So yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. Seriously, I mean, this was
I like it.
This was fun for me. It really was. So I can't wait to continue to share it. So that's it.
Exactly.
Sounds
All right,
good.
guys,
That's a wrap.
Wait, what should our outro be?
What should
we
our
have
outro
to,
be?
We
Yeah.
have to get an outro for every episode.
Should we like what is
Oh, whoa. What about
that?
this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is
We'll do a couple takes.
So this is what
Let's
we've
do a
said.
couple takes.
Okay, we'll do a couple things. But one of the things, you guys can pick. But one of the things we talked about is that as a family, we can no longer talk except on the podcast. So it's going to be save it for the podcast.
Save it for the
So like, don't
podcast.
talk to me anymore. Save it for the podcast.
Okay.
That's how we end it. Save it for the podcast. I'll
What
talk to
What
you
was
next
your
time.
idea?
What? Thank you guys for watching. You have been checked in.
I like
No,
to save
I
it
don't
for the
know.
save it for the podcast.
How
Save
about
it for the
cheers
podcast.
till
Save it
next
for-
time?
Yeah, cheers till next
Cheers
time.
till next time.
Yeah, we got to come up with something. But for now, let's
I know,
just.
it's got to be good.
I know.
It's got to be
Alright.
good.
Yeah.
When
What?
we start, we talk about checking in.
Checking in.
And then when we leave, we're checking
Checking out.
Checking out.
Kids
All right,
with
yeah.
our checks. Checking
This has
out.
been-
You've been-
This is check. Thank you guys for watching. Checking in. And we are checking
Checking
out.
out.
Yeah, we're checking out. We'll see you guys. Thank you for watching.